Hey, it's Manly Parks. Welcome to another episode of Brandywine Angler Short Fishing Tips Edition. I'm out here on a creek in the lower eastern shore. You can see the water conditions are not great. Looks like coffee with milk in it. It's sort of the tail end of the incoming tide here. And I've stood in this one spot and caught, I don't know, 20 crappie and 5 or 6 bluegill. Some of the crappie are pretty big, over 12 inches, wide range of sizes. And I just want to show you for a second what my technique is. It was interesting because I was using a different technique to start, and I was catching a couple of bluegill, but no crappie. And then I changed techniques and immediately caught a crappie on every cast for half an hour. So let me show you that. First, let's talk about what I'm using here. I've got a Z-Man Stingers on a Z-Man micro finesse head, 1/30th ounce Z-Man head. That's a Z-Man Stingers in like an electric chicken, kind of pink and chartreuse color. I've got braid on this rod, so I've got a very short leader to a very short swivel. You can see it there. I think it's a size 10 or 12 swivel up to a bobber. This is a Comal bobber. It's not a big one. And the overall operation is probably about 2 feet long between the bobber and the lure. So what I was doing originally is, it's very quiet here up in the headwaters of this creek. And I was just kind of moving the bobber like that, just gently moving it a few inches at a time. And, you know, like I said, I got a few hits doing that. However, I changed tactics to a really sharp jerk like that. Sharp jerk, let it sink. Sharp jerk, let it sink. Sharp jerk, let it sink. And immediately started picking up fish on every cast. So this is a basic float and fly type setup. And this, by the way, is my father's favorite approach, that really sharp twitch. It works best with the small round bobber, weighted bobber like the one I'm using. If you use a teardrop shaped bobber or a fill, kind of a old-fashioned cork, you can't really get the kind of twitch out of it that you want. And so this round bobber really works well, almost like a popping cork, but it doesn't move too much water to really make a loud splash. And, you know, you can try different paces and all that stuff, but that, you know, moving it more abruptly, and you're trying to move that bobber maybe 2 or 3 or 4 inches in each twitch, not 6 or 8 inches. And that really turned the fish on this afternoon. One little tip to be mindful of: if you're twitching with a pretty aggressive twitch, after a few casts, that bobber will slide up the line towards the lure and shorten the length between the bobber and the lure. And you just have to keep that consistent. So you might have to check every 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 casts, and you might have to slide your bobber up another 6 inches if it's sliding a little bit. You can wrap the line twice around the bobber pin, but I also think that that becomes a weak spot. So I'd rather just keep checking the bobber periodically and make sure that it's not moving too much than to wrap it and then have it be a weak spot and break off a nice fish. This is literally the very next cast after I just stopped speaking. Maybe 20 seconds later, cast it out, twitched it 6 or 8 times, crappie, took it down. Not a huge one, but, you know, fun all the same.